Todd Dunn here on July 7, 2019 aboard my 1936 wooden powerboat Tortuga. And this is the 5th video in my repair series for the deck leak that I have over in this area. I've pretty much replaced all of the interior wood, as you can see. New bulkhead here. This is a 2-inch thick fir bulkhead. Behind that is a 3/4 inch mahogany bulkhead, which is the outside of the hull there. And you've seen that in previous videos. What I'm going to do today is remove this wood up here, and I'm going to cut that out from the outside. Now, in order to do that, I can measure from various places, but getting the measurements right on the outside for where to make the cuts is a little tricky. So what I'm going to do is drill some reference holes through this material, and that'll tell me where to make my cuts. So why don't we do that? Okay, I've got a 1/8 inch drill, and what I'm going to do is just drill through right next to the edge of these planks and this beam. One. Two. Okay, those reference holes will show me on the deck where I want to cut. And basically what I'd like to do is cut through the fiberglass up there to the far side of this beam. So that's about, if I allow 2 1/4 inches from where my reference holes are, that'll put me over here, and I can come back about 1 inch this way. I'll be able to lift off the deck, and that'll bring the plywood with it. And at that point, I can cut out these deck planks here to the middle of this beam, and we'll put in the new deck planking. Then I'm going to cover it all with plywood that'll be epoxied down to the deck planking. And finally, after that epoxy is cured, probably tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, I will glue the fiberglass that I removed back down. And the plan with the fiberglass is to take it home tonight and remove all of this crummy plywood that's adhered to it. I've done that before when I rebuilt the foredeck, and it's a bit of a pain, but it's not that horrible. So I should be able to get this out, hopefully in one piece, and then we will be ready to go with doing the rest of the assembly. Now, when I take this out, I have to remove a couple of other things. I'm going to have to remove the tow rail, which is out here and is not in very good shape, and when we put it all back together, I will replace the tow rail with new wood. Okay, let's go up on deck and start cutting. All right, I'm up on deck now. I've got my reference holes are clearly visible, so I'm going to mark out where I want to make my cuts. On the forward cut, I want to come 2 1/2 inches forward of the reference holes. It would be on the far side of that deck beam, so I don't hit any of the screws or nails that are holding the overhead planking to the deck beam. And inboard here, I think 1 inch will put me into the next deck beam. I don't want to cut underneath the edge of the deck there. I'm going to take my mark there, out like this. Take my mark here. Come this way. So those are the marks where I want to make my cuts. Now the fiberglass is a bit under 1/8 inch thick. I think the plywood is about 5/16. So that means I need to be about 1/2 inch. I'm going to set my my saw here up to slightly less than ½ an inch. And we'll see how that goes. So let's make the first cut. This is always the hardest part, cutting a hole in your boat. There we go. First cuts are in. And it looks like I didn't quite get through the plywood. So I'll probably do the last little bit of that cut with the oscillating saw. Although maybe I'll just set this slightly deeper and we'll see how we go. Well, we'll find out. Now I'm going to cut along the edge of the cabin house here and lift that deck up, so I'm gonna go pretty close to the cabin house when I redo that. Then we'll have to remove this piece of tow rail. Before I cut the tow rail out, I'm gonna finish these cuts with the oscillating saw. Now, the idea here is to cut through the fiberglass and the plywood so that I can just lift the fiberglass off and bring the plywood with it, because the fiberglass is bonded to the plywood, but the plywood is not bonded to the deck beams underneath. Well, I'm getting some of it. Looks like I have a little bit more to go here. Okay, I know I dropped through there, so now we'll cut down this way a ways. Now when I put this fiberglass back on, I'm only going to have these little gaps here, and when I glue it down with thickened epoxy, that's going to squeeze thickened epoxy out into the gap, and I'm hoping that I will be able to simply grind it flush and then repaint. Okay, I'm definitely through there, so this corner should lift out. Yep. Now I'm going to run there. I mean, before I do that, I'm going to put some tape on the edge of the cabin house so I don't chew up my varnish. Now let's finish this cut down here. Okay, I should be through that. Now I'm pretty sure that this fiberglass ends right at the tow rail. But in order to deal with that, I'm going to cut through the tow rail here. There we go, I'm pretty much through the tow rail. So if I remove the fasteners, I should be able to pop that off. So why don't I do that off camera. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just make a cut near the cabin house with this saw, and I'll use the oscillating saw to clean it up later. So this will be pretty easy. And we'll use the oscillating saw to finish that. Right now I left it in the sun, and this thing is sensitive to heat. And the oscillating saw has overheated, so right now it doesn't want to work. Maybe I can get it to cut that last little bit. No, it's got to cool off. So, see if I can't cut that with the skill saw. So, at this point, should be able to start prying this up. We'll see how it goes. Go. Cramp in my leg. Looks like I have a little bit more to cut out on the forward end. Well, that worked out well. A friend showed up just as I was starting to went to charge this. Okay, let's see what we can do now. Prying this up. Like it's still holding in here. That should do it. There we go. That should lift off now. There's the underside of it. And I've got some screws up here to back out, and then we'll be able to put new planking in. The plywood up here is sound. It'll be a little bit more of a challenge. I got to go get a Phillips screwdriver to back those screws out. So I got to back these screws out, see how well they come out. Oh, easily. And cut away half of these beams. I got to pull this bit of plywood right here out. Once I get this done, I'll be ready to start putting some new wood in, which will be nice, make it a little sturdier. What makes this plywood hard to pull out was these screws. I had to essentially delaminate it, and also it's stapled down. But as you'll see, there's nothing underneath it between it and the planking. Then we'll have to make a cut down the middle of this planking. To get a little access to a ledge, and then I just have to dig out this rotted wood down here. It shouldn't be too hard, like that. Clean that area up, and I'm going to carry my deck planking all the way out to the edge there. In contrast to the way the deck was originally fiberglassed, I'm going to fiberglass it all the way out to the edge and set the toe rail on top of the fiberglass rather than beside it. I'm also going to epoxy seal the edge of my plywood, and having this plywood epoxied to the planking underneath will also help in terms of there we go. We'll just pry it up in pieces. So this is just kind of tedious, hammering and knocking it out like this. So I think I'll go shut the video down and we'll come back after I get this opened up. Okay, here's the view from inside the boat. What I've got to do is clean up under here just a little bit underneath the remains of the deck here from inside, and once I get that done I'll be able to start putting new wood in. So 5 more minutes of demolition and the first new wood in a while is going to go into the boat. So let's see what we can do up here. I want to clean up the edge of this plank too. So this is going to be involved. You're not going to be able to really see what I'm doing. So we'll go off again. Okay, I'm just about ready to screw the last planking in right here, and we'll see how it goes. I think I'll take that one out a little because it's pushing it open. Push that in there like that. Put this one in. Okay, she's closed up, and at this point I just have to glue some plywood down over that, and this repair will then be watertight. So that's the next step. Okay, here goes the first layer of homemade plywood, which is 2 layers of cherry veneer, because that's what I had. Those first layers of veneer is to bring the level up from the thinner material I use on the outside to the first plank I use on the inside, which is the same thickness as what was on there before. So that fits in there like that. I have to go mix up another batch of epoxy. I'll put that on there. Like that to hold it down. And I'm going to put another layer in with the seams staggered. After I get both layers glued down, I'll screw it down with 5/8" pan head screws to secure it until the epoxy kicks. And then tomorrow I'll back all those screws out and I'm going to put a layer of 1/4" plywood over the entire repair. Okay, time to get back to mixing more epoxy. Alright, I'm ready to put down the second layer of epoxy. And veneer, this is West System epoxy thickened with 403 microfibers. And I made it a little wet so it would wet out the wood. Now what I'm going to do with these to hold them in place is screw them down with 5/8" pan head screws. And these will leave holes in it, but when I put the next layer of plywood down, the thickened epoxy will fill the holes. Okay, here's the interior. After that, it's all closed up. And as soon as I put a quick coat of paint on there, it is going to look a lot more finished. Because my wife doesn't like the smell of normal boat paints, I'm just going to put a coat of acrylic high gloss white on here just to cover the wood. And when I'm ready to put real paint on, after the boat's hauled out, I will sand this off. So this is just a quick coat of paint just to make it look a little more uniform. Okay, pretty much done. Have to do a little fairing tomorrow, but after that I'll get the rest of it another coat and she'll be pretty much done for the season. Anyway, this repair is coming to a close. Tomorrow I'll be cutting out the layer of 1/4" plywood and gluing it down over the entire repair area on deck. And then after that, on Tuesday, I hope to re-fiberglass the deck and get it basically sealed completely back up and waterproof again. And the only thing left to do after that will be a little bit of fairing and painting and reinstalling and painting the tow rail. So this repair is coming to a close. I think the boat is not quite watertight yet, but after tomorrow it definitely will be. So that's that for this one, and I'll put up another video hopefully with a little better talk about what I'm doing tomorrow when I put the plywood down, and then finally when we glass the deck. Okay, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up if you thought it was worth your time. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to click that notification bell so you'll get an indication of when my next video comes up. Thanks again for watching.